My name is Emily Carter. I'm 32 years old and I live in Colorado, though I wouldn't call it home. Not really. Home is wherever my little boy is. And right now, that place is hundreds of miles away from me. I didn't plan on becoming a single mother. No one really does, I guess. But life doesn't ask for your permission. One day you're holding your newborn in your arms, whispering promises to never let anything hurt him, and the next you're alone, standing in a half-packed apartment, trying to figure out how you're going to feed both of you on tips and leftover hope. His name is Noah. 4 years old. Sweetest smile you've ever seen. And eyes that somehow always knew more than they should. He used to follow me everywhere, room to room, just to make sure I didn't disappear. It broke my heart in small daily ways. Because I knew deep down that one day I would have to disappear. At least for a while. When the bills piled up and my part-time shifts at the cafe weren't enough, I started looking for anything that paid more. That's when I stumbled into tourism. I had the gift of talking to people, of painting pictures with words, and Colorado had no shortage of visitors. Before I knew it, I was working as a full-time tour guide, leading groups through the Rockies, walking trails and talking history. It wasn't glamorous, but it was something steady. Something real. But it came with a price. The job required travel, long hours, and stretches where I couldn't even be home at night. Childcare became impossible and the guilt, it sat on my chest like a brick. I couldn't afford a nanny. I couldn't quit. I was stuck between what my heart wanted and what our survival required. That's when I called my mother. She lives up in Montana with my dad. Retired. Quiet town. Backyard full of apple trees. I never thought I'd ask her for this, but I did. I asked if she and Dad could take Noah in just until I got back on my feet. She said yes before I even finished the sentence. The day we said goodbye is the day I stopped pretending to be strong. Noah clutched his little backpack like it held the world. He didn't understand. How could he? To him I was mommy. And mommies aren't supposed to leave. He held my legs so tight at the bus station. I could feel his tiny fingers shaking. Mommy, I go with you, he said, his voice trembling. My heart cracked right there on that cold concrete floor. I crouched down, hugged him tighter than I ever had, and whispered into his hair. Not this time, baby. But mommy will come back. I promise. He started to cry. Not loudly, just those quiet, choking sobs that only a child can make. The kind that feels like it punches the air out of your lungs. I stood up. I had to. If I stayed another second, I wouldn't be able to leave. I kissed his forehead, handed him to my mother, and walked away without looking back. If I had looked back, I wouldn't have made it to that bus. They say cities are full of noise. Cars honking, people shouting, construction drilling through silence. But for me, Colorado felt eerily quiet. Maybe not on the outside, but inside. Inside me, there was a stillness so heavy it echoed. A kind of silence you can only feel when something is missing. When someone is missing. I threw myself into work. Being a tour guide sounds fun on paper. Smiling faces, mountain air, laughing tourists with cameras slung around their necks. But the truth is, it's exhausting. I was up before dawn, out on the road for 12, sometimes 14 hours a day, narrating the same stories to strangers who'd forget my name by sunset. I knew every scenic overlook, every historic marker, every hidden trail, and yet I felt lost. I remember one particular week, 5 days straight of tours back to back. My feet ached, my voice rasped, and my smile? It was more muscle memory than joy. That Friday night, after dropping the last group at their hotel, I dragged myself back to my little rented room, kicked off my shoes, and just collapsed on the floor. I didn't cry. Not at first. I just laid there staring at the ceiling, asking myself the same question I asked every night. Is this worth it? And then my phone lit up. It was a photo my mom sent. A blurry image of Noah sitting on the porch with a popsicle, his face sticky, eyes squinting against the sun. He looked so happy. And so far away. That's when the tears came. I held the phone against my chest, curled up like a child, and cried until my whole body shook. No one heard. No one knocked on the wall to ask if I was okay. Because here I was, just another tenant in another building of a city that never stopped moving. The worst part, the loneliest part, wasn't even the nights. It was the in-between moments. Like passing by the park on my walk home and seeing mothers pushing strollers, or crouching down to tie their child's shoelace. Simple things. Small things. And each time it hit me like a knife to the ribs. I would smile politely at the families on my tours, the ones who brought their kids along for a family adventure. I'd point out scenic views and say things like, "It's a perfect spot for photos." But inside I was thinking Noah would have loved this view. He would have wanted to climb that rock. He would have asked a million questions by now. Once after a tour, I sat alone on a bench near the edge of a lake. A little girl ran past me laughing, holding her mother's hand. And I just lost it. Right there, in public. Tears welled up without warning. I turned away quickly, wiping them with my sleeve, pretending something had gotten into my eye. But the truth was it wasn't dust. It was grief. Quiet, invisible grief for all the moments I was missing. The scraped knees I couldn't bandage. The bedtime stories I couldn't read. The goodnight kisses I couldn't give. The city was big, but it felt so small without him. And me? Ty was loud during the day, telling stories to tourists. But at night, I was just another mother whispering "I miss you" into a pillow, hoping the wind would carry the words to a little boy hundreds of miles away. During those rare 2 or 3 day breaks between tours, Emily always made sure to come home to see Noah. No matter how exhausted she was, even if it meant traveling overnight without rest, she couldn't bear being away from her son a moment longer. And every time she arrived at the gate, that familiar little figure would come running out and throw his arms around her. "Mommy, I missed you so much." Noah's voice rang out, pure and bright, piercing straight through her heart. He clung tightly to her, his little face looking up at hers, full of love and relief. Emily bent down and held him close, trying not to let her emotions show as she noticed how much thinner he looked, how his hair had grown longer and messier. He was growing up so fast, but without her by his side. That thought stung deeply. Their time together always passed far too quickly. Just yesterday they were cooking dinner, reading bedtime stories, and falling asleep in each other's arms. And now she had to pack her bag again and say goodbye. That morning, as Emily stood by the door with her suitcase, Noah stood beside her silently, his eyes filled with sadness. He tugged at the hem of her shirt, not saying a word. But that simple gesture was more than enough to break her heart. She knew he didn't want her to go, yet he was trying not to make it harder for her. Emily knelt down, kissed his forehead and forced a smile. She had to smile. Because if she cried, Noah would cry too. She had to be strong, even as her heart twisted inside. As she stepped onto the bus, Emily didn't dare look back. She was afraid her tears would spill. Afraid she'd see her little boy still standing there, waving, one hand tightly gripping the corner of her old shirt, trying to hold on to just a piece of her as she left again. That night, just after finishing a long tour, Emily returned to her hotel room utterly exhausted. She had barely laid down when her phone buzzed. On the screen, 2 familiar words appeared. Noah calling. Her heart clenched. She quickly picked up, her voice trembling. "Hello? Noah." On the other end, his little voice came through, soft as a whisper in the night. "Mommy, I miss you." Just 3 short words, but they crushed her chest like a stone. She fought to keep her voice steady, though her throat tightened with emotion. "Noah, when you miss Mommy, what do you do?" There was a pause. Then he replied with a truth so innocent it shattered her. "I go to the closet and hug your old shirt. It still smells like you." Emily froze. Words escaped her. In the silence of that dimly lit room, the only sounds were her shaky breaths. Then came the sobs she could no longer hold back. She covered her mouth, trying to muffle her crying so Noah wouldn't hear. But the tears flowed uncontrollably. Guilt overwhelmed her. She blamed herself for the missed hugs, the lost bedtime stories, the mornings she wasn't there to greet him. All the little moments that made up a childhood, she was missing them. She wanted to scream, to drop everything, buy a ticket and run back to him, to hold him close and whisper, "I'm sorry. Mommy's here now." But she couldn't. Another tour was already scheduled. Contracts had been signed. And the weight of responsibility wouldn't let go. That night Emily didn't sleep. She held the phone tightly in her hands, listening to Noah's voice over and over again. Then she buried her face in the pillow and cried like a child. For the first time in all her years as a single mother, Emily realized the deepest pain doesn't come from blame or anger. It comes from the quiet resilience of a little boy learning how to miss his mother, all on his own. That night, after the call that left her sleepless, Emily sat alone in the corner of her hotel room. The soft yellow light from the bedside lamp cast shadows on her tired face, her eyes still swollen from crying for hours. In front of her lay a worn notebook, the same one she often wrote in whenever the ache of missing her son became too much. With trembling hands, she began to write. What if you had me by your side when your stomach hurt? What if you didn't have to watch your friends being picked up by their moms every day? What if I could slow down just a little, to sit with you at the dinner table like a normal evening? The what-ifs poured out of her like a flood. They were fragments of regret, the kind every single mother quietly carries inside. But tonight, Emily no longer had the strength to hide them. She kept writing, this time as if she were confessing, to herself and to her son. I'm sorry, baby, that it's just me. There's no one else to hold you when you cry. No one to catch me when I fall. But I'm trying. I'm trying every single day so your future won't be as hard as our present. Emily took a deep breath and gently closed the notebook, leaning her head against the back of the chair. In that stillness, she thought of the quiet conversations she'd had with other single mothers, women she met along the way on her travel tours across the country. A restaurant worker once told her she used to sleep under the counter because she couldn't afford rent after giving birth. A backstage coordinator on a tour had confessed she'd hidden her illness from her son so he wouldn't worry. Everyone had their own silent story, a hidden scar, a private burden. And in that moment Emily realized she wasn't alone in her loneliness. Out there, other mothers were also carrying the weight of the world, just to leave a little light behind for their children. After countless sleepless nights filled with guilt and longing, Emily knew she couldn't keep living like this. The back-to-back travel tours might pay the bills, but they were costing her something far more precious, her son's childhood, the sacred bond between mother and child, and the little moments that once missed could never be reclaimed. So she began saving. Quietly, intentionally. Every tip, every small leftover from her wages was carefully tucked away. No more after-work dinners with colleagues. No more small luxuries for herself. Everything now pointed toward a single goal: being closer to Noah. Emily started researching jobs in the city where Noah lived. Office work, part-time gigs, even assistant roles at the local library. She didn't care about the title. She didn't need a big paycheck. All she wanted was time with her son. One night, after a long day guiding her tour group through snowy Montana, Emily sat down at the desk in her modest hotel room, where the group was resting for the night, and began writing Noah a letter. The paper didn't smell like her perfume anymore, and her handwriting was no longer as neat as it used to be. But every word was filled with quiet, determined love. My dearest Noah, one day you won't have to hug mommy's old shirt when you miss me, because I'll be there. Every day, taking you to school, picking you up, eating dinner with you, reading stories, growing up beside you. I love you, and I'm coming home, bit by bit closer every day. Emily paused after writing that line, her heart trembling with something she hadn't felt in a long time: hope. That final night of the tour in Montana, she stood quietly by the window of her hotel room. Outside, the night sky stretched endlessly, and in the distance snow-covered mountains glowed faintly under the moonlight. She looked up at the stars and whispered into the silence, I love you, and I will come home. It was no longer an empty promise, no longer a wish spoken out of guilt. It was a commitment, a vow made by a mother who had finally decided to slow down the grind of survival and return to the place that mattered most: her son's heart.